Well, Grant, a promising first half, but you couldn't turn that the way you'd want in the second half. And when Millwall went 1-0 up, they were fairly comfortable with going on from that point.
Look, I'm not one to ever blame officials for a result. I'm not, and I think if you look back in previous, I would never blame them. We've lost the game today because of us, but I will say the decision to give them the throw-in, which is a massive strength for them, has cost us the first goal today and swung the momentum in Millwall, because up to that point we were comfortably the better team. I think everyone could see that. Yes, we were lacking the end product. Yes, we lacked in the final third. They changed their shape in the second half to try and stop us a little bit more. We had them, and then the throw-ins just cost us. And obviously Millwall are a good team. Bringing people like Jed Wallace on, he's probably one of the best players in the Championship. And I think what that showed today was the two bits of quality that he had to provide them crosses for goals for them. We didn't show. We got in so many areas where we just hit the front man, we overhit it. All of us really. There was a lot of players in them positions. You know, it's not just Harrison and Joe, because both of them had a decent enough game. A lot of our players. So that was a frustrating element of the game.
And going back to the throw-in, obviously aggrieved with the awarding of it to Millwall. But again, it's obviously the defending of it that you want to be better from your team from that point. Once once it's gone against you.
Yeah, look, it's massive decisions in the Championship. You know, you're playing against a team like Millwall who has that long throw. It can hurt you, and we should defend the throw better. There's no question about it. We're not tight enough to a phobia, and we let him spin and score. It's just frustrating. Jeff Eltringham was the referee when we played Stoke a few weeks back, and he gave a penalty for Stoke, which was never a penalty, on Josh Knight, and he admitted that before the game. It's just really frustrating. Really frustrating today. I thought for 50-60 minutes we were good in terms of what we were doing, but we just lacked any sort of killer edge to us at the top end of the pitch.
And I guess that's been a feature too much this season, and that's why the season's gone the way it has.
Yeah, obviously when you concede the amount of goals the team's conceded, and you haven't got that edge about you up front, then it's always going to be a problem, isn't it? So we know there's work to do.
And I guess the frustration around the goal and the result today was because it had been a promising first half. You did well, you knew because of the result last night Millwall had to come out and try and get some goals. You did well to grow into the game, silence the crowd, and then the big chance before half time was Clark Harris, where maybe just guilty going with the outside of his left rather than his right perhaps.
Yeah, it's a big moment. It's good play from us. Sammy, great little pass, and we're all expecting Jono to swing the right foot, but couldn't quite get round it. I'd love to know how many number of injuries we had into their penalty area today. It's something I'll ask my analyst about, but it felt like we were in there quite a lot and just nothing came off it, which is really frustrating. And since we've come into the building, we've told the boys there ain't no what ifs at this football club now. It's not should I cross, what if I do this? We just ask them to decide. If you're going to shoot, if you're going to cross. Today we had that little air of doubt, seed of lack of conviction about us today, particularly in the top end of the pitch, which when you come to a good Millwall team with quality, they'll punish you when you switch off.
And I think there are a few examples of that. Once the score was 3-0, Randu, Poku and Ward all had chances to shoot and maybe just delayed by a split second and allowed the block to come in. Perhaps just those scars of the season coming back to the surface.
Yeah, that's a difference. That's a difference from the bottom end of the Championship to the top end. It's just a phobia half chance goal. Jed Wallace, 2 crosses, one unbelievable ball that we have to try to defend, goes into our net, and then another one we just stands up and we switch off. We just leave Saville. One of our players just left him, which is unacceptable.
And you have no doubt improved Posh's performances on the road since you've come in, but it's, I guess, a result that sums up where it's been away from home this season. Blunt at the top end of the pitch, failing to take those chances. Leaky at the back and conceding a couple of quick goals as well. It's just been a feature of Posh on the road this season. Yeah,
I can't speak for what happened before I was here, but we definitely have improved away from home, and we've been strong and hard to beat. I think you see that for probably 50 minutes today. The only difference is today we never took the opportunity. We never got a goal in our spell. I've spoken about this before. At this level, you have to score in your spell. Our spell was probably the whole of the first half. Didn't score, which always gives you, keeps you on edge a little bit. And when that first goal went in, obviously the momentum changed. We were just a little bit lackadaisical after that. We weren't there was no real edge, no real sip about us. It just looked like the game just wanted some of the players wanted the game to finish there. That's really frustrating for me. I said that to the boys afterwards. That's just not the way we are.
And going into the final game of the season now, it's all about just finishing on a positive note in front of the home fans against Blackpool next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've seen today we approached the game in the right manner. We tried to be competitive in everything we did. Yes, we lacked a bit of quality in the final third, but as a performance, it was okay. It was good up to a certain point, and then one decision, one not defending a throw in into our box has probably has swung the momentum into Millwall's favour. And obviously one of the best players in the Championship comes on and just rubs salt into their wounds with them two unbelievable balls.
I'm sure you'll always learn something from every game, but ultimately not huge decisions made on the basis of this game, obviously with the eye on next season in August.
Yes, but we focus week by week. You know, that's the way it is. Yes, we know where we are next season, but I've said it all along. We wanted to be competitive in every game, regardless of where we are. And I think we were up to a certain point today, and then it just felt like it just dwindled out, which is not great, you know, for us. And obviously I take responsibility for that because I'm the manager. But you know, we have to improve on that for next week. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, right. I understand there was a recruitment meeting this week. So I wondered if you had any thoughts at this stage on maybe the areas you're looking to bring in, or maybe the amount of players looking into next season?
Yeah, we've got a very clear idea what we need to do, but it's not for now. You know, that these sort of things will be kept in house.
Just the one you're playing Blackpool next week, you came up with Posh last season and Hull, who you started the season with. What has been the difference between those teams being able to survive the Championship this season and the good squad that you've inherited or not?
It's a good question, but it's a tough question for me to answer, really, because I can only judge what I've seen since I've come into the club. And I think probably maybe one or two of the first early games when we were really focused on trying to make sure the staffing and the structure behind the scenes was great for the players. After that, you know, we've been really competitive in every game apart from the 35-minute spell today at Millwall. So I can only speak about what I've seen, and the boys have. Yes, I know I've been frustrated in that interview, but I am, because I know that's not what they've shown us since we've come in through the door. What's the difference? I guess the mentality. I guess, you know, a bit more consistency, more belief. You know, I would probably point it to those sort of reasons.
Grant, you mentioned things like a bit of a decision today, you know, which is not what you preach. After a game like that, is there a point that you would like watch it back and teach them, or do you just write it off now?
No, we debrief the game like we do every game, win, lose or draw. Areas to improve, areas where we can definitely get better, and also the positives, because I think there is quite a lot of positives we can take from the game, but also definitely areas where we have to improve. They're a young group in there, you know, really young group of players, and they need that help and encouragement all the time.